All right, now we're talking about how to design your offers, your pricing, and your coaching model so that you can convert at a much higher rate and scale your business without getting your calendar completely hijacked. I'm all about freedom and life-aligned business without the hurry and the worry. I've tried a lot of the models out there, and I promise you this one wins, hands down. So the problem is really twofold. First of all, if your offers are confusing, then your audience is definitely confused. And confused people don't buy. So you need something that's simple and clear and undeniably compelling. And that's what I call the offer stack. Second problem is you can't scale with one-on-one coaching. So while I'm a big proponent, I still work with CEOs and executives, one-on-one coaching, occasionally some entrepreneurs. It's very valuable, but it eats up all your time. And so you can't scale and you're trading your time for money. But the alternative is group cohorts and DIY courses. Again, they have their value, but they water down the experience. Low engagement, lower results, less transformation. So now you're stuck with this trade-off. Do I scale or do I keep the quality? And I remember being right in the middle of this decision, trying to scale, stacking more clients into my calendar and thinking, okay, this is working, but it didn't feel good. Every week felt very reactive and rushed, like jumping from call to call. And I could feel the quality starting to slip. Not because I didn't care, not because I wasn't capable, but because there just wasn't enough space. And at the same time, I experimented with group coaching and DIY courses. And I remember thinking like, this is scalable, but it's not impactful enough. People aren't actually getting the results that they do in my one-on-one. So what you actually need now, 2026 and beyond, a model that does both. It scales your business and it improves your client results at the same time. So welcome to the freedom delivery model. When I switched to this model, everything changed. I could feel it. And my teammates I work with, we were talking about it. Like, this is just clicking. We have more freedom, higher engagement, and it just worked. If you're new to me, my name's Steve. I'm the founder of Greenhouse Coaching. I help coaches scale to their next 20K a month without rebuilding the soul-sucking corporate life that they left behind. So instead, we build freedom and we build life-aligned scale with one simple system I call the Business Builder Growth Plan. All right, so here's the shift I really want you to get in this video. People don't buy because they're convinced. They buy because it feels clear and aligned and obvious. The other day, I walked in this store. I was gonna buy some shoes, and immediately one of the workers was like, "Can I help you, sir?" And I was just so turned off, I wanted to run away. You hate that feeling of being pressured to buy. Like, no, let me walk around and look at stuff. Let me decide. All right, so that's the idea here. We wanna give people the chance with an intangible coaching business to shop around, to look around on their own time and to decide when they're convinced, not when I'm trying to convince them. And so that's what the core offer is about, is when they're ready, they know exactly how to buy and they know what you offer. So it's just an easy step for them to take. So let's go ahead and dive into how it works. So what I wanna walk through here is 3 incredible things that you are gonna love. How to structure your offer so it's simple and it converts higher. How to deliver your services in a way that scales and you're not trading time for money, and then also kind of the pricing component. So again, in the trust cycle, what we're talking about is this step here. How do we move people now that we've built the trust through the short form, long form content? They come to us and they're ready to purchase. How do we make the offer so it's so irresistible they can't say no? And I've been doing this for about 10 years now, so I think you can trust me because we have sold and worked with over 1,000 clients, and I've tried all kinds of different approaches. So I feel like I have a really, really keen sense of what works. And here's the 3 components of this approach. First, you have an offer document that explains your offer stack. We'll get into this in a minute, but it just means taking the same one offer, one transformation, but delivering it in different modes that meets people where they're at. So now I don't have to have all these sales calls explaining the same thing over and over. The document does it for me. And this can be a web page as well, but I like to do it in a document because there's something about that that makes it a little more like customized and feels more personal to the person you're sending it to. So that that gives you this feeling like Apple instead of Best Buy. If you remember in the past, like buying a laptop at Best Buy or something like that, where they've got all these options and it just feels really overwhelming. You're like, I don't know, I'm comparing all these specs and I don't know what to buy. And then I remember the first time I switched to Apple and I go to their store and they're like, here's your two choices and this is the one that's best for you. And just immediately felt this sigh of relief. There's something about that tailored, like, you're the expert, tell them what they need, and then they don't have to have that like analysis paralysis. So that's the offer doc with the offer stack. The second part is behind the scenes offers. Now, this is something I just learned about last year, and it's been game changing. The reason is when it's a high ticket service you sell, people are going to hesitate to go from like not knowing you, being interested, and then paying $20,000 for your services. Well, there needs to be like a smaller step first to pay you a little bit and get some results and kind of just get warmed up. So the appetizer is a BTS offer. Now that can look like a workshop. I like to do this where I take my existing workshop with my crew and I sell tickets to the public to join and come be a part of one of those workshops. This is just great because it's simple. I don't have to do anything extra. I'm already doing this workshop. And then for the potential client, they get to see what it's like. They get a peek behind the scenes. And so it's not just talking about the offer. It's like they get to feel what it's like in the group and see it in action. Also, as AI and the bots are taking over, like, this is great because it shows you're human and real. There's no questioning once they come to my workshop that this is a real thing. The other way to do this though, one-on-one, is spot coaching. And so you can just offer a one-off session where they get to experience you, get a ton of value, and then that's like a springboard into your flagship offer. And then the traditional way that's still helpful to have lead generators, lead magnets, small products where people can kind of get a quick win with you and pay a little bit of money to do that. All right, and then finally, the monthly open door. This is like the best way I've found to do offers because if you have rolling entry all the time, you get really burnt out. It's a lot to deal with. But the problem for the client side is there's no urgency. So they'll just put it off. They'll be like, yeah, I'll join later. And so the monthly open door solves for this by having 1 week per month, you open the doors for new people to join. And this means that you can promote on your content channels and on your email list in a really like concise timeline for a week. So that happens through email, through DMs, Instagram stories. And then when the door closes, you increase the price. The price increase, it does a couple things. First of all, it gives that little motivational push to get them off the fence and go, okay, yeah, I want to sign up now so I can get in on this price. But it's also great for you as the coach because you want to be growing your prices over time to get to like your ideal price point. And this allows you to incrementally increase as you have more credibility in the market, instead of going too high too soon or staying low too long. So at this point, you're also using case studies, and that's that off the fence energy of like, okay, other people like me are getting the results that I want. And so I know I can trust this. So the foundational step here is nailing your niche. And the way we talk about it is like, who do you help? What problem do you solve for them? And what's your unique way of solving it? Because the reality is you're actually the only you doing what you do. We think like, we get this imposter syndrome, like, well, who am I? And there's other bigger players out there. But the reality is your style, your experience, your personality, your vibe, it all combines to make a very unique way of doing what you do. And so we do some market research to see what others are doing, why we're doing it better. And we describe it in our messaging with the 5 Ps. Who is this for? What problem do I solve for them? What's the promised transformation? And then what's my unique way, the path to get them there? And then the proof, gives a bit of empathy and authority. It's like, hey, I've been where you're at and I know what it's like. And I've experienced the results you want to get. And here's the people that I've helped, and it gives that authority and that credibility. So here's what the offer stack looks like. My example is simple. You start down here. This is going from low cost to high cost, but it's the same transformation offered in different modes. The problem is when we have just this scattering of different offers and it's confusing to people. And if it's confusing to you, it's definitely confusing to them. And if it's confusing to customers, then they're not going to buy. But the other problem is if you just have one offer, then it kind of pigeonholes people. And what if that's not the right thing that they need right now? So here what we do is we offer the same thing in different modes. We have free resources like this video you're watching that are offering the same transformation that my paid program does. But then you move up to that behind the scenes offer or the spot coaching where you're paying, something in the realm of like $100 to a few $100. It's a no-brainer if you're already interested in what I offer. Then move up to my flagship thing, which is premium hybrid group. And as you move up this scale, it's essentially like 10x the price. There's actually a study that showed people are willing and wanting to spend 10 times more for more of the value that you offer, more access to you, more kind of premium and customized and personal. And so if this one's like 100, then, this one moves up to the like 1,000 range. And then if you really want more of that personal touch, a little more hand holding, then you move up to this one-on-one coaching. And this is like in the 10K range. So what you do is you're moving up the ladder, but all along the way, it's the same transformation being offered. All right, so if you want to dig more into this and like see some of the actual numbers, then go over to my Instagram, DM the word pricing, and it'll shoot you a video where I dig into this in more detail. All right, so now let's talk about the delivery model, because the problem we all face is you either do one-to-one and you get maxed out, or you try group or DIY offers and the quality sucks and it just doesn't work. I've done all the different versions, so I know this all too well. But the thing is, first we got to know what is it that we're offering that is relevant to all of our perfect fitting clients. And so let me just show you what it looks like in mine. In the Business Builder Accelerator, I know that you have 3 core pain points that's pretty much true across anyone that I've worked with. One is we need clarity about what do I offer, what's my uniqueness in the market. And I do that through something called Nail Your Niche. We get your vision straight of where you're trying to head with your business, what kind of lifestyle you want to build. We do those 5 Ps we talked about and create the right offer. And then this step is like, okay, how do you message what you do so it cuts through the noise and stands out in the market? The second problem is usually I need more leads, I need more clients. And so we solve that with the path to clients. It's got 6 degrees of separation is like how you get your first paying clients, either in a new business or a new offer. The trust cycle, which we're talking about here, is how you scale online. And then the content planning system, so you're not on the hamster wheel with your content. And then third, it's control. It's like, I feel overwhelmed. There's so many things to do. I don't know what to focus on. Common problem. And so we solve that with these simple systems. How do I get my calendar in order? How do I get my cash in order? And how do I plan what my priorities are? So now with this, I can package this in any of these ways in the offer stack, and it always works. So now to my favorite part of this video series, the freedom delivery model. This is how you scale your services so that you can help more people and grow your income without bogging down your time and your calendar. So we know that one-on-one coaching is valuable, but on its own, it's capped. We know group cohorts are valuable. You've got that community element, but there's a lot of problems with those. And then DIY is also good because people are at their own point in the journey. They want to be able to do things and make progress on their own. But left to to themselves, like they don't have the accountability, they don't make the progress. So what we do here is put all three of these into one package thing called a premium hybrid offer. There was a study done years ago that was the most comprehensive study in human change. And what they found was these three elements are what creates lasting change for people. Having narrative, that's kind of like the mindset, the story you tell yourself. Community, you train for a marathon with a group, right? And then practices. What are the actual steps and tools that you take along the way? And so at the heart of this is this beautiful, beautiful model that gives you all three components. We're getting narrative through coaching. There's one-on-one coaching. For example, in my accelerator, when you join, you get a one-on-one session. And as you hit milestones, you get one-on-one sessions. So we're able to do that like deep work into where you're stuck and where your mindset is at based on your goals. But that's not all the time. The rest of the time, we're in a group setting. And so every week we meet as a group for Q&A and teaching and workshopping things together. And what's so awesome about this, if you've ever experienced a group setting, is you get light bulb moments from seeing other people have them. Like when they're sharing something or they have a breakthrough, it clicks an idea for you, and that community is really valuable. The other part no one talks about is joining a coaching program has so much to do with identity. Like, who do I want to be like? Who do I want to associate with? And so as you're building a group of people like this who do things like that, that's one of the main draws for people. They want to be part of that. They want that kind of identity. And so the group is actually more powerful than just one-on-one. And then finally, the gamified learning. So I do this through little short 2-minute video course modules. When you join, you have all the foundational learning you need in these modules that you can go through while you're at the gym, in the car, whatever. And the cool thing is we gamify it. So it's not like a drag to go through all these modules. It's actually kind of fun because you're trying to unlock the next one and beat the villain at the end. So now people are getting these amazing results, and you can share their story in your content to help other people connect with you and give them hope that they can get there too. So really what we do is we share a few versions of this. Sharing simple wins. Like you look at my Instagram, you'll see I'm just sharing little snippets of when clients have wins, when I have wins. But I'm also creating this FOMO about my accelerator because I'm showing you like behind the scenes what we're doing and what's happening inside the group. You can also have take people's quotes. A lot of times I'll write them down when they're saying it in a conversation or in a session, and I'll send it back to them and say, hey, could you post this? Here's the link for my Google reviews. And I can also use it as a testimonial on the site. This is a really nice way to get like human language instead of that fake, like, oh, Steve's amazing, he changed my life, that no one believes. And then finally, you also can get referrals. And so you take like right when people have felt the biggest wins from working with you, and that's when you ask them. You don't wait until the end when the energy is actually pretty low because you're feeling the pain of change. But at this peak time, you ask them for a referral, and great people know great people. So those are kind of the short ones. And then the main one is this case study. And so you'll see on my YouTube channel, I've got these interviews like 20 to 40 minutes long where I'm just interviewing someone I worked with and they're sharing their story. It's so much better than like testimonial land where, I don't know, it all feels fake and contrived. But with case studies, it's very real because you're hearing like where they were stuck and what was going on in their life. And then what are the moments when they started to have breakthrough? So as you've guessed, like these assets can be shared in all of these places. It becomes jet fuel for your trust cycle. And it just kind of gets it working on autopilot for you. So if you're at all wired like me, this is like the holy grail because you build this stuff once and then it keeps working for you for years and years while you're doing other stuff, instead of starting from scratch every day over and over. And that's what I call the roots up approach. This is like, let's get to the root of what actually works and what actually matters to get you where you want to be, not just in your business, but to unlock the life you really want. Like, that's why we got into this, right? We want to have a life of freedom and adventure, flexibility, whatever it is that you're really dreaming about. We can get our business to the point where it's facilitating the life we want instead of the other way around. And so the way we do that in the Business Builder Accelerator is something called a 90-day sprint. Every 90 days together as a group, we look at what's your bottleneck, where do you want to be, and what are the right steps to get you there. And so we can make this a reality. Every day we are scaling to the next 20K a month revenue without the soul-sucking overwhelm. And we build freedom, we build life-aligned scale. We do it with one simple system, not a bunch of soul-sucking complicated funnels. And so you get that high-profit business that creates the life that you want and helps people with really meaningful impact. If it's the right time for you, go to my Instagram, DM Grow20. It'll send you the info of what it looks like. You can shop that, you can check it out. And really what we do is we're constantly focused on moving from that like overwhelm and chaos to simple structure of knowing what to focus on. In our 5-part series, the next one is the last video, and it's called the 6 degrees of separation. This solves the problem of how do I get my first clients when I don't have the social proof yet. So it could be a new offering or it could be a new business, but how do you get those paying clients really quickly without spamming DM cold messages, without going to awkward networking events, just in a really human, easy, simple way that works. This is the way I got my business from 0 to the first 50K a month, was this approach. And so here's the video. You can check it out right now. And if you want to make sure you see all the videos in the series, the link is in the description for the 5-day email mini course. It delivers it to your inbox once every day for 5 days. All right, see you in the next one.